You know, when we talk about Social Security, it's so easy to get bogged down in spreadsheets and endless calculations. But here's the thing. This decision, it's not just a math problem. It's a human story. It's about your health, your dreams, and really how you want to live out this next big chapter of your life. So let's explore the powerful human case for claiming your benefits sooner rather than later. And this is it, isn't it? This is the question that every single person approaching retirement has to ask themselves. Do you grab a smaller check right now at 62, or do you hold out for that bigger payday at 70? All the conventional wisdom, everything you hear, seems to shout, wait, wait, wait. But what if that advice is missing a huge piece of the puzzle? That's what we're digging into today. Okay, here's our game plan. We'll start at the crossroads, then dive into the math versus what actually happens in real life. We'll uncover the hidden risks of waiting, talk about why feelings often trump formulas, and finally, ask the big question: what does it really mean to maximize your retirement? So, first up, that crossroads. Because this decision, it really isn't just about a number on your statement. It's about your whole outlook on life. To really get this, the source material introduces us to three different people who perfectly capture the different ways of thinking about this. Meet our three voices. First, we've got Tyler. He's the pragmatist, all about taking it at 62 for control and flexibility. Then you have Jordan, the security seeker, who's thinking, no, wait till 70 for that bigger, guaranteed income. And finally, there's Casey, the life enjoyer, who says, I want that money now while I'm healthy enough to actually do something with it. Each one has a totally valid point, and they really frame this whole debate perfectly. All right, let's get into the numbers, the part everyone loves to focus on. But you're about to see how the cold, hard math often clashes with the messy reality of our lives. So on the surface, the trade-off looks pretty simple, right? Claim at 62, you get a smaller monthly check, but you get paid for as many as 8 extra years. Wait until 70, you get the absolute biggest check possible, but you're giving up all those payments in your 60s. The real question, the one that matters most, is at what age does waiting actually start to make financial sense? And there it is. That's the magic number that sits at the very heart of this debate. The break-even age, the point where all those years of waiting finally catch up and start to pay off, is usually right around age 80. Just letting that sink in, it's a total game changer for a lot of people. Tyler, our pragmatist, just nails it with this quote. I mean, think about it. If the average person is expected to live into their low to mid-80s and the break-even point is 80, you're basically making a bet that you'll live long enough past that age to make waiting worth it. That is a huge gamble against your own longevity, and mathematically, it's a bet a lot of people just won't win. Now let's talk about another piece of math that scares the daylights out of people, the infamous earnings rule. The way it's talked about, it sounds like a penalty, right? Like the government is actively punishing you for working. You hear that phrase, takes away, and you instantly think your money is just gone, poof, forever. But that's not what happens at all. Here's the real story. First, your benefits are withheld, not lost forever. Second, the government credits that withheld money right back to your Social Security record. And third, and this is the most important part, they actually recalculate your future benefit, making it higher. So it's not a penalty, it's basically just a forced deferral. It's a huge distinction that most people miss. Okay, so this brings us to the hidden risks, the things financial models just can't predict. Those models love their perfect straight lines, but our lives, well, they're anything but. I mean, just look at this list. When you decide to wait until 70, these are the bets you're making without even realizing it. You're betting that you'll stay in perfect health, that you'll live well past 85, that your job will be secure, and that the government won't change the rules. That is a lot of things that have to go exactly right for 8 straight years. And Casey's point here, wow, it's so real. It's not just about some major illness popping up. It's about the everyday stuff, the bad knee, the chronic fatigue, that can quietly steal the retirement you've been dreaming of. The risk isn't just about dying early. It's about living a long time, but not being healthy enough to actually enjoy your life. And that's the bottom line. We hear so much about the risk of outliving our money, but for most Americans, the much bigger, more statistically likely risk is simply not living long enough to make waiting the right call. It's a straight-up bet against your own mortality, and the odds aren't always in your favor. Which brings us to the feelings. Because let's be real for a second. Decisions this big are almost never made on a spreadsheet. They're driven by our deepest emotions: fear, the need for security, and the desperate desire to avoid regret. Take Jordan's perspective. It comes from a deep-seated fear of not having enough. For someone with that background, a larger, guaranteed check later in life isn't just money. It's an emotional safety net. It's a feeling of stability that can easily outweigh any purely mathematical argument. Casey, though, is driven by a totally different kind of fear, the fear of regret. The regret of a life that was put on hold for too long. When you see people you know wait too long and miss their chance, it creates this powerful urge to grab life by the horns and live it right now. And then there's Tyler, and for him, it all comes down to control. He sees waiting as basically giving up control of his own money, letting it sit out there like some pot of gold at the end of a rainbow he might never even get to. Claiming at 62, for him, is about taking that control back. So all of this, it leads us to our final section, and a question that's almost philosophical. What are you really trying to maximize here? Is it your money, or is it your life? This slide really lays out the two competing mindsets, doesn't it? On one side, you have the plan for a perfect later, which is all about maximizing a dollar amount way down the road. On the other, you have the choice to live well now, which acknowledges that life is messy and unpredictable and focuses on maximizing your quality of life today. So when you look at it through that lens, the case for claiming at 62 becomes incredibly compelling. You get guaranteed income during what are likely your healthiest, most active retirement years. You get protection from stock market swings. You can ease up on draining your personal savings. I mean, the list goes on. And maybe most importantly, you have a much, much greater chance of actually getting to use the benefits you paid into your entire working life. And this quote from the moderator, Jane, just says it all, doesn't it? The strategy of waiting until 70 is designed for a perfect, predictable world that doesn't exist. The strategy of taking it at 62, well, that pays off in the real world, the messy, beautiful, unpredictable world that we all actually live in. And that really leaves us with one final question for you to think about. When it's all said and done, when you look back years from now, what do you think would sting more? Knowing you could have had a slightly bigger check each month, or knowing you could have had more years to truly live? The answer to that question might be all the financial advice you ever really need.